Welcome to Perspectives in Mobile, the news podcast from the Mobile Ecosystem Forum. Join us discussing the world of telecommunications, technology, and mobile innovations. From London, Dario Betty, MEF CEO.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Perspectives, the podcast for the Mobile Ecosystem Forum, where we like to look at some of the big themes in the ecosystem, but we like to discuss it and develop it as each of the key thinker, even key doers in this industry has got his own perspective, and they built it around all of their experiences. Today is great to be talking about mobile advertising, mobile engagement, I should say, with one of those persons you have heard. She's the voice for the industry, I should say. It's Kerstin Trikalitis, the co-founder and CEO of Out There Media. Kerstin, thank you for being here.
Thank you so much, Dario, for having me. It's a big pleasure and honor.
Thank you, Kerstin. Kerstin, you are the co-founder and the CEO of Out There Media since 2008. It is 15 years. Exactly. Now, tell us a bit more about Out There Media, what it is, but really, what has happened in the last 15 years?
Yeah, it's incredible how time flies. Indeed, when I when I just heard you saying that, I'm like, oh my God, 15 years. It doesn't feel like it. An incredible ride ever since we founded Out There Media back in 2008 in Vienna, our headquarters, growing into almost everywhere in the world. So we started off in Central Eastern Europe. After Europe, Central Eastern Europe, then we went east, Asia, Southeast Asia, opening our Singapore hub, then came back again, Middle East, then Africa via our big partnerships with Vodafone, Vodacom, MTN. And now we are back focusing onto the European markets again, as well as the US and Latin America, spearheaded by Mexico and Brazil. It's been an amazing ride. I would not have expected even 1% of what then happened in the subsequent years. Back then, when we founded the company, in total, we have seen 44 countries, 44 markets with Out There Media, pitching, meeting clients, opening offices, working with telcos. So 44 countries, I've counted them the other day. And I'm incredibly grateful for that experience, our amazing partners, our amazing clients, our amazing team, amazing industry movers and shakers such as yourself, Dario, and can therefore only be grateful for the last 15 years.
Well, fantastic. But a lot has changed in the 15 years. Maybe you have changed as well. So what would you reflect back and say that the main changes has been since 2008 as a CEO in this industry and with yourself?
As a person. Well, look, yes, of course, a lot has changed. And what the technology looks like today, of course, was not even on the horizon back then when we started. So I think the name of the game here is to always innovate, to always be open to change, to always be agile and embrace innovation and trends and lead your organization towards constantly evolving and constantly improving and constantly changing. That's one. Me as a person, yeah, I guess I've become much wiser. I've become less impulsive. I have become more patient. I have definitely learned how to listen more and talk less, although that's not something that you will probably agree to, Dario. But in general, yeah, I mean, and a lot more resilient. And I think that is kind of the story of every founder especially in the tech in general, but especially in the tech space, that resilience is a very, very important characteristic that we all need to develop, and which is really, really important.
The strength to hang in there and to make sure that you change, that things change over the time as well. One of the things that I probably wanted to ask you anyway, I never had the time. You see how nice it is to sit down sometimes, is a different out there company that I know is out there, which is Out There Impact. Now, Tell me a bit more. I mean, I've seen it emerge in the last few years. You have a chairperson there, and obviously you. What is it? Why did you have to build another element to all their media?
Thank you for that great question. In fact, it's one of my favorite topics. We've created Out There Media, which is for profit. It's a commercial business, and with our technology, our proprietary technology, Mobax, and our telco partnerships, we reach about 1 billion people via our telco partners across the globe. So our classical model has always been advertising. So our brand clients are the Coca-Colas, the Unilevers, the McDonald's, the Procter and Gamble's, the Pepsis, and their media agencies in the world. So telcos on the one hand, technology in the middle, advertisers on the other hand. At some point, just before the pandemic, we had a very, very interesting, enlightening chat with the United Nations. In fact, the team around the SDGs, the Sustainable Development Goals, where we told them what we have created, and they basically said, "Oh my God, it is so hard to work with telcos. We've been trying so hard to, get programs up and running with telcos across Africa, across Asia, across all parts of the world. Can we not use your technology and what you have created in Out There Media?" In order to increase the awareness for the SDGs and for the United Nations in general, and use your platform, your technology, your network to reach those hundreds of millions of people. And that is when that was late 2019. And that is when we had the idea of, okay, we've spent the last 10 years building that technology, building that network, and we're using it for advertising. Let us use it now for the greater good. Let us use it for international organizations, for anybody who wants to get the right message to the right person at the right time. So we've created Out There Impact, which is the impact arm of Out There Media that focuses on working with organizations such as United Nations, such as UNICEF, such as the World Health Organization. I'll tell a little story about that in a second. But also, in general, NGOs, governments, government organizations, anybody that would like to utilize our technology to get out to people and engage with them. Of course, RCS lends itself for that in particular. But one sentence on the WHO. We then started to work with the SDGs in the UN late 2019 and presented our first SDG campaigns that we ran across the Middle East, Africa, and Asia back then. We presented them at the UN headquarters in New York City at the SDG Media Summit. And a little bit after that, met the World Health Organization in Davos at the World Economic Forum. So now we're 2020, January. And as we all know, a month later, the world went into lockdown. And that is when we then said, wow, let us call the gentleman, Chris Pattison from World Health Organization, and see whether we can run a global campaign in the fight against COVID-19. And that then became the biggest COVID-19 campaign, mobile messaging campaign in the world. It was entirely pro bono. We reached a total of 300 million people via our telco partnerships, via our technology in 17 countries. The world's leading telcos, agreed to work pro bono as well. And that became, one of the big game changers in the messaging space and and utilizing mobile technology for the greater good. I think that's giving a good overview of Out There Impact.
And the potential of everything we do today. I mean, that's great. Sometimes we don't think of the importance of the simple telecommunications or the advertising tools that can change and save life as well. It's a great tools. We should all be proud of what it does. But thank you for spearheading at the time of the pandemic and helping the WHO. And we're probably talking right now already of the mobile market and the mobile marketing area right now. But let's talk about what is happening out there. What are the trends? What is changing? Because this world always changes. And how is Out There Media positioning against these things? What are the big things happening out there?
When we look at the digital marketing and the digital advertising space in general, we know that it's the same old formats that have been around for the last 15 years, and such as your banner, your social, your video, and you can see that the market is getting sick and tired of those formats, and that the performance is falling behind. When I speak about performance, I mean click-through rates, engagement rates, response rates in general. So overall, there's this zest for something new, something fresh, something that captivates the attention of the user, of the consumer. And that is when messaging comes in. And we've been very active in the space of RCS, in the space of messaging in general, but in particular, rich messaging over the last years. And the campaigns that we've run for our big clients, such as, again, our Netflix, Unilever, Procter and Gamble, Budweiser, Burger King, McDonald's, Disney, and the likes, have shown that the consumer is wholeheartedly embracing that new format. What does wholeheartedly embracing mean? You are familiar, Dario, with that term attention based seconds. It is really how many seconds we spend with an ad. A TV ad, a print ad, a radio ad, a social ad, a video ad, a banner ad, and so on. So the seconds that a user spends with an ad, that's really what matters. It's really about, in our cluttered world with so many distractions, people switch within milliseconds from one activity to the next. So it's really about captivating their attention and keeping them there. Only that way their brain will engage. And what we have seen is, on average, with those other either traditional media but also traditional digital media such as banners and so on, an average time spent on advertising, for example, on a banner, is zero point 0.1 seconds. On a social ad, it's like 1.4 seconds. And we have seen that across all of our campaigns, and by now we have a big plethora, rich messaging campaigns, a big plethora or range of covering both from beer over to nappies, soft drinks, shampoos, but even super yachts, as we had recently presented in Paris with your fantastic forum. We have seen an average of 30 seconds that people spend with RCS bots, with rich messaging experiences. They're captivated, they find them extremely exciting and engaging, and the longest even being beyond a minute. That was what we've recently done for Azimut and Hanse Yachts, the super yacht bot. But that's kind of the hottest new thing. And two more numbers here, two more metrics. As I said, the world has been waiting for something new. Is sick and tired of the same old digital stuff that's been around. So we believe rich messaging is that. We believe that is proven by the attention-based seconds that people spend with rich messaging experiences. But also, we can see that budgets are started to being shifted from digital media to messaging, to rich messaging. And we believe that by 2028, 20% of digital media spend, which is today $350 billion, will find its way to rich messaging.
Wow. That was a big money. And your view, is RCS gonna be growing fast, or is it RCS and other things? Because you're a great promoter of RCS out there, but we're still waiting for some of a big break in the industry as well.
I believe RCS has all the ingredients to be the leader. RCS has all the ingredients to become the single biggest medium in the world. In that, all Android phones have RCS embedded, and they are growing by the minute. And the market share of Android in the developing world, which is the majority of users in terms of absolute numbers, is approximately 85 to 90%. In the developed world, it ranges between 40 and 60%. So overall, RCS has the ingredients in terms of reach, in terms of adoption by the telcos by now. So that's a new thing. We've seen this in the last 12 months accelerate. That has not been like that a few years back. One telco after the other is switching on RCS, so that's really really important. And of course the third ingredient being the richness and the capabilities. However, and here's the big call to action for the industry and for the world, and in particular for Google and the telcos. Consumers, we need to increase consumer adoption. Only when consumers know that this feature is, or that RCS has now replaced their SMS tray, their SMS app on their phones, only when consumers know that these are features that are now available to them, and that they don't have to go onto other messenger apps, but that is now available in their phones and to their friends as well, and people don't have to download. Only then will this really become massively relevant for consumers and at the same time for brands. So the more consumers embrace and know and use RCS, the more brands will jump on them, the more on it, the more brands jump on it, the more consumers jump on it. So it's this virtuous circle, or a virtuous cycle as we call it. So the call to action is clearly, the world needs a massive, or many massive consumer campaigns, either done by Google or done by the telcos or done by a collaboration of the two parties, Google and the telcos, that informs a consumer information and education campaign that informs and educates consumers about the capability of RCS. That's step number one. The brands will follow.
Wow, I like the call to action. You heard it, powerful and emotional as it was a call. And then we will use it again, Kerstin. We will use your words because those are great. Now, let me take you away from the nitty gritty day to day of the development of the market. I want to go back into your past to understand a bit where you're coming from, how you got here. Because you are a marketeer from a proper marketing school, the best of the marketing schools out there, the famous to know Unilever and Procter and Gamble, the places where things have been done with fast-moving consumer goods. And you were there at Unilever as a brand manager. How did that shaped and helped you? Is that one of your secret part of a secret recipe for Kerstin today, for the understand of the market and how a marketeer think?
Dario, spot on. Spot on. That's exactly right. You and I never spoke about that, but you're exactly right. Unilever gave me the foundation for everything that followed. Unilever gave me that thorough school of marketing, how to position a brand, what's brand equity, what's important for brands. And whenever I'm asked this question, and over the last many years, this is the answer. Yes, indeed. It's the foundation for everything that were to follow, whether this is then digital and messaging and whatever came afterwards. But a thorough understanding of the fundamentals of how marketing works and how brands ought to be positioned is what I learned at Unilever, and I'm incredibly grateful for that.
Wow. So, I mean, I hope a Unilever is listening. I'm sure they should be proud by now. But your, Kerstin, are unique in many aspects. And we had a little game. I asked a few people to define you, by the way. I wish I had all of their quotes in front of me, but they came to something: how strong you were, how strong was your will to do, your energy to do things, something infectious and almost to care, take care of. And I'm wondering, how do you create something? Maybe I don't know. Is that your special recipe here? Is it the fact you're half Danish, half Greek? You speak six languages. You're a combination of everything, of the almost the opposite of the fierce Mediterranean, as I might be. I don't know, and the pragmatic northern Danish, the Scandinavian. So, is this diversity that helps you to make sense of a business that is complicated out there?
So first of all, thank you so much for your kind words. This is very, humbling. I'm actually a little bit shy. I don't know what to say. So thank you very much. Um, well, we are all special. And the fact that my mother happened to be Danish and my father happened to be Greek I believe has nothing to do with then who we become. However, if you were to ask me whether I believe that that came as a big advantage in my personal, in my specific life, in my specific case, and I have to say yes, I'm extremely grateful to my parents actually for bringing me up with what you just described as Mediterranean and at the same time Scandinavian, brought up in the middle of the two countries, which is in Austria, in Vienna, which then became also, the where I spent most of my life so far. Um, Bringing me up with all those languages, yes, has been an extreme advantage. I'm using them wherever I can. I'm using them in business wherever I can. And it has, to your question, whether it has made life more complicated, yes and no. It has made life more easy because you have, more languages to speak in, or you have, you combine those north and south and center in a way, but more complicated as well. Yeah, because I don't know what home is, but that's okay. I've come to terms with. If you ask me where's home, I cannot answer you, but that's okay. I've come to terms with that. I'm sure you're going through the same thing, Dario, for all of your life.
Yes, it's great to think that home is many places in this big, big globe, which is when you realize it's very small in the end, lots of friends here and there. But let's talk about that big globe as well, and let's talk about you, because there's a first in Kerstin that I see of wanting to learn, wanting to do, wanting to achieve. Not one university I see in your educational list, but three. I mean, you've been Wien University, so it's Austria, an MSc, a Saudi, an MBA, Harvard Business Schools. Great things. Why so much studying, especially for such an entrepreneur? I mean, why so much thirst of knowing? What has been the most defining part of your success? Is that do you need an MSc, an MBA, and a Harvard as well?
Wow, that's a good question. No, you don't need all of that, of course. In fact, you don't necessarily need any college degree. Why did I choose that, and why did I always find it very exciting? I think it is this never-ending love for learning. So the natural thing here in Vienna was to go to the Vienna University of Business and Economics. So that's what we just, did after graduating from high school. So that's kind of the first thing. It was a very good foundation, like Unilever was a great foundation. The Vienna University of Business and Economics was a great foundation. However, then I started to learn Spanish. I fell in love with the Spanish culture, and you know, there was this group of people trying to convince me to go and live abroad in Spain for a little bit of time. So I thought I could combine it with an MBA in ESADE, which is one of the best business schools in Europe, and certainly I think number among the top three in Spain. So that was an incredible experience. Um, right after right after my university degree. So that was approximately 98. It's at 98, 99. Then I started Unilever. Well, and then fast forward, then after we've created out the media and so on, Harvard Business School has this incredible program called OPM, which stands for Owners and Presidents Management. And it is a special program of 3 years for founders and entrepreneurs. It takes you 3 weeks per year away from your business onto campus in Boston, in Harvard, Cambridge. And I believe that was kind of the culmination there. I've met uh, 90 incredible other founders and entrepreneurs from all over the globe. We have made bonds that are beyond just study friends, but real friends for life. And that, if you wish, kind of completes that journey of, for now, of continuous learning, continuous love for learning.
Oh, wow, continuous learning. We like that. But I think I want to stay on your personal, because you mentioned something before, something that I thought, and you are shy, but some people do not associate somebody who has got such a strong communication skill, such as yourself, with a person who does not want to talk about yourself. So I feel almost intrigued. I have to ask you something more about you. Um, Something completely not business side. So let's see. What's your favorite song? What's your favorite movie?
Okay, Dario, I will not say favorite movie. I will say favorite series. In fact, I will say, yeah, favorite series. And that is a series called Born in Danish. So Borgen, that's how you spell it, Borgen. And it's about, I don't know if you heard it, it's about a Danish foreign minister, and how a woman, Danish foreign minister, and how she maneuvers politics and the world of politics globally as a foreign minister and then becoming a prime minister. This is, in my view, one of the most exciting series. The way that protagonist maneuvers through the political landscape, the business landscape, with how much humor and wit she takes her everyday job, and balances personal life with her professional career, is incredible. I could watch it over and over again, and I have borrowed many wisdoms from there. I'm trying to, at least. So that's Born, that Danish series. And in terms of my favorite song, it's an old one, very, very old, by Gloria Gaynor, and it's called I Am What I Am. So that's an uplifting song that I hear, that motivates you. It motivates me in the morning when I drive to the office, over and over again. So ever since, I don't know, I'm 16 or so, I've been always liking this song a lot.
A real classic. And I think I could even mention some of the lyrics, which I didn't think you were going to pick one of my favorite songs as well. Fantastic. I never heard about Borg before. Borg, is that correct?
Borgen. Watch it. You're gonna love it. Very useful for
Okay,
everyday life.
fantastic. That goes into my watch list.
Yes.
Now it's almost the end for our chat, Kirsty. I can't believe that half an hour can go so fast, but it's thanks to you, I guess, and the lovely chat we're having. And so, very briefly, but not so briefly, because that's an important question. But imagine a young Kirstin out there, an entrepreneur that is really ready to shake the world, and possibly doing it in the mobile ads right now. What would you go and suggest? What would you go and tell? What would you pass on for your wisdom?
Three very simple steps, or three very simple pieces of advice. Number one, expect the unexpected. Number two, jump, just jump. And number three, never, ever, ever give up.
So unexpected is coming, but you jump and you keep on jumping, or you never give up, right? Oh, okay.
So
That's
I think
very,
expect the
very good.
unexpected is like, we all think, oh, and then we're gonna do that, and then we're gonna do this, and oh, we can plan for everything, but the truth of the matter is we cannot. And the trick here is to always expect the unexpected, and then basically adapt and jump and never give up. That's really what it's all about.
And at one point you say before, resilience, right? That's all part of that game as well. Keep in there.
Yeah, resilience.
Kirstin,
Resilience. I think plays to the whole never, never, ever give up. I think that's, if you were to ask me what's the number one thing in life, and I think that's the one. That's the number one thing. Never give up.
Good advice for all of the people out there that they want to be entrepreneur, they want to shake up things, they want to do things differently. Certainly Kerstin Trikalitis has done. And Kerstin, thanks for you and your team Other Media for all the things that you're doing in the industry. We're really, really impressed. But for now, I have to say thank you and bye-bye. But I'm sure we're going to see you next in some of our discussions. And I hope we're going to get a bit more of his personal Kerstin as well. It's great to get to know you a bit more.
Thank you so much, Dario. And thank you so much for everything you have been doing for the industry. It's been remarkable what you and your team have accomplished. And we enjoy being at your conferences, being part of your mobile ecosystem forum, of your network. Incredible job. And I want to give all the compliments right back to you as well. Thank you very, very much.
Thank you.
Thanks for listening to Perspectives in Mobile. Join us next as we explore telecoms, technology, and mobile innovations. Stay tuned, stay connected, and let's unlock the mobile potential together.